What's going on, guys? It's Red Bull Tanker and Airsoft Commando. Welcome to Historical Board Gaming's The Korean War. This is our mid-game brief overview, however you wanna call it, with our thoughts so far. As always, I'll go first. Overall, I think our updated rules have been going fairly well. The game is definitely moving at a faster pace than the previous game, and I know some of you in the comments have even made comments about the fact that the game definitely seems to have sped up now that we've altered some of the supply rules, which I'm actually liking. Other than that, I mean, the introduction with tanks and mech still being able being able to go too, that's definitely something that really helps. Do have some ideas running in the head of other things that we could do, as far as stuff like that, as far as like movements and stuff. But those are kind of just in the back of the mind right now. The only things right now that I'm not 100% sure about is the whole North Korea capturing Seoul can trigger China to come into the fight. Just not entirely sure about that yet, but I think a lot of that stems with just how poorly some of my planning went earlier in the game, and now I'm in the position that I'm in. Some of those feelings might be stemming from that, and honestly, the other feeling sort of stemming from that too is sort of the factory setup in this game. Because kind of like what I mentioned in my last video, the idea now that between China and North Korea could just spawn 10 infantry in Seoul every turn, and then China can reinforce it with 3 aircraft. Well, now reinforce it with 3 aircraft per turn. It basically turns Seoul into a massive fortress that, obviously, I mean, even though the objective of the game is to hold the most territory possible, the Allies really can't commit to taking more territory in the north if they still have to worry about a massive North Korean army sort of surrounded in their rear. But at least as of right now, don't really plan to change any of that. I think it's stuff that's in my head, and on our next playthrough, me and Airsoft Commander are going to switch sides, and we're gonna see how things progress with us playing playing on the other side. Other than that, I mean, yeah, like I said, the game, at least with these updated rules, the game feels a lot more fluid. It's not such a slow burn, and I mean, I've been enjoying it so far. So I'll pass everything off to Airsoft Commando for his thoughts.
Hello everybody, Airsoft Commando again with the stick of knowledge here that I dropped again. Just like last time, that's gonna be a common thing. Having China actually be able to be a playable thing opens up a lot, because now it doesn't feel like it's such a waste to be buying anything for them at all. You as a Korean player, I noticed you are going to be basically doing the city fortress thing, because they have a navy, you don't, and anything you defend around the coast is going to be open to shore attack on top of whatever ground forces they throw out. I have noticed, though, again, a lot of movement. There's even been a lot of back and forth. But for those of you who are trying to actually like portray Korea as it happened, sorry, like the pocket of Busan is never ever going to happen as the game sits. So just be prepared for that. I think that's all I have. I'm really enjoying it. I look forward to seeing how it ends.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This game is, I mean, and kind of even the same with like all the other Axis and Allies games. You're never gonna get a pure one retelling of the actual war. One, at least in this game, in order to get down to a Pusan pocket, I mean, the starting setup for the Allies would have to be fairly reduced, and the South wouldn't be able to build out of solar or anything like that. So, yeah, I definitely agree. For people who are kind of looking for this to try and be almost like a 1-for-1 of the war, you're just never gonna get that. You might. I mean, I obviously won't say it can't get that way, but just the way how everything plays out, North Korea is just not strong enough to get, from the parallel all the way down to Pusan before massive Allied reinforcements come in. And again, part of that could be just because, I mean, when you really think about it, if you're going off of a calendar system like this, where like in the first game we played, the calendar was broken up in 3-month increments. This one, obviously, I broke down into 2-month increments. Even if we went further and broke it down into 1-month increments, like one, that's going to extend the game to, probably 30 some odd turns, which that's too long of a game. Granted, the turns do seem to go quick, but just breaking the game further down into 30 some odd turns, it's just not, that's not practical. Maybe one thing that could be different, at least to maybe attempt to better replicate that, is maybe it's not just a 1-turn thing that the Allied reinforcements sit on. It could be, maybe a 2-turn thing. But then again, even with that, then that still slows the game down. And I mean, even with the Allies waiting 1 turn to deploy their forces in Korea, it still gives North Korea more than enough time to at least get to Seoul and start fortifying this bit of South Korea. So it's just kind of one of those things. But yeah, overall, like we both said, and I keep saying, you're not going to get a 1-for-1 on this game as far as getting it to be just like the actual war. But that's okay, and I mean it's the same with Axis and Allies. It's the same with all of that. You'll never get a perfect 1-for-1. So but other than that, yeah, I think that's pretty much. I think that's it for our thoughts. The game's been going well so far, and we'll see if we can carry it out for the next 9 turns to the end, or see if we get to a point where one of us just kind of decides that we should. One of us decides to throw in the towel. So, on behalf of myself and Airsoft Commando, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time. So until then, guys, as always, take care.